Benvenuto, welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to go back to the 1970s. This is one of my favorite childhood desserts. Its name, my mother called it Chocolate Lush because it's very similar to Lemon Lush, or when she made it with butterscotch, she called it Butterscotch Lush. It's got so many different names. I think one of the names is Better Than Robert Redford Dessert or Cake or whatever. Those of you that weren't around in the 1970s or don't remember him, Robert Redford was a big heartthrob in the 1960s and 70s and maybe into the 80s. But anyway, we're going to call it Chocolate Lush. No matter what you call it, it's delicious. And as I said, it comes back when I eat it, it has a lot of nostalgia. This is a time when everybody used whole milk. There was not light sour cream, and nobody was concerned about peanut or any type of nut allergies. I'm sure there were nut allergies then, but it wasn't something that you heard about. So we're going to make this full fat everything, because it's going to be delicious. But you can substitute for 2% milk. If you want, you could use less fat cream cheese. I guess you could even use the light Cool Whip. Anyway, it's up to you. So what we're going to need is for our crust. Now this has a nice short crust, I think it would be called. So we're going to need some flour. And we need finely diced walnuts or pecans. I had walnuts, so I'm going to use walnut. We need 10 tablespoons of butter melted. And of course, this is going to be all in the description with the recipe. And you're going to need a little bit of Pam for the bottom of the pan. The baking sheet, you're going to need a 9 by 13 baking pan or Pyrex, whatever you got, glass, metal. All right, so then for the filling, now we need the big box of Jell-O pudding, instant pudding, and this is the again, it'll be in there, but I just want to make sure that we understand it's the larger box of it. It's the 5.9 ounce, and I think for some reason, I don't know why the vanilla is less, but it's 5.1 ounces. All right, so you need one of each. And of course, we're going to need some cold milk to make that with. We need some powdered sugar. That's going to be part of our filling. We need softened 8 ounces of cream cheese. Of course, we're going to need some vanilla for flavoring. And we need 2 8-ounce containers of thawed Cool Whip. And then we're going to top it off with some beautiful shaved chocolate. Oh yeah, I can see Wade's already looking at it. He didn't know it was there. Wade is a chocoholic. All right, so that is really, it looks like a lot of ingredients. It's a lot of the same ingredients. The only other thing I want to say is, as I started to say, you can use basically any instant pudding you want. My mother used to make it with butterscotch. So if you're going to change the flavor, if you're going to do butterscotch or lemon, just omit the chocolate and replace it for whatever pudding you want to put in. You could use pistachio instant pudding, butterscotch. What's the other one I just said? Lemon. All right. And then still use your vanilla because you want it to taste like the particular pudding that you're putting in, but you don't want it to overwhelm it. All right, we're gonna clean this up and get ready to make our crust. See you in a little bit. All right, I've got my oven preheated to 350. Now this, you have to do the crust first because it has to cool. And the crust is gonna take between 20 and 25 minutes. So you wanna get your crust done, let it cool, and then once it's cool, you can start to go on with the rest of the recipe. Okay, in here, I have our 10 tablespoons of butter. Oh, I just wanted to show you. We need a little bit of Pam. I know with all this butter, I don't know why, but it's in the recipe, so I'm gonna do it. But you don't want it to be too much. All right, so don't Don't over-pam it. Usually I do that over the sink so it doesn't squirt all over, but wanted to show you. All right, so then we need 1 1/4 cups. Now, you may see some flour in there, and that might look like there's a little residue on my beater. It's clean. I'm going to actually make 2 of these and freeze one. So I have a crust all made, and we're going to make this one. So again, we don't want to pack this down too much. Just kind of do it that light pack way. Yeah, I'm done with that. So that's I don't know if I said 2, but we need 1 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. All right. Hey, I did it. No flour. Well, there's a couple little tiny little bit. All right, and then our 1 cup of finely chopped walnuts or pecans, whatever you prefer or whatever you have on hand. And of course, let's start that out slow. And really, all our goal here is to combine that, get that all nice and combined together. And the flour will start to absorb the flour a bit, the butter a bit. You know what I mean. And I would say we're probably going to give that a good 2 minutes to do its thing. So I'm making 2 because I'm gonna freeze one for 2 reasons. I want to see how it freezes because I can remember my mother freezing it, so I think it freezes well. We'll put that in the comments at some point, but I think it will freeze really well. And then Matthew may come up next weekend, so we'll have something sweet around to eat. And as you can see, that's all gotten together nicely. I don't see any specks of flour around. And that is done, believe it or not. That's all we need to do to it. I'm gonna unplug that. You know this scares me. I'm gonna put on a latex glove just because it'll be a little bit. I won't have to wash my hands after I press it out. Okay, done with that. Now we are going to need the mixer one more time. Believe it or not, guys, over 30 years ago, Wade bought this mixer. If I've said this, if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. Wade bought that mixer for me for, it was our first Christmas together because I really, really wanted it. And it came with this metal bowl. And for years, I was happy just kind of using this middle bowl, and then I wanted another bowl. So if you got a mixer, if you got a stand-up mixer, invest in another bowl. Makes it a little bit easier. Then you don't have to clean up in between when you're going to use it, because we're going to use the glass bowl to make our pudding. But anyway, so that's really all there is to it. We're just going to press this out. And there's plenty there to get it all to the edges because you want to try to keep it even, or an even thickness across your pan. It smells delicious when it's cooking. Now, of course, if you were this really travels well. It makes a great potluck dessert. It's great for cookouts and stuff like that too, because it's cool and refreshing and delicious. I was going to say we'll come back so you don't have to watch this, but we can edit it if he wants. And there is enough. You're going to get it a nice even right to the each from edge to edge of the pan. And like I said, we got our oven set at 350. And that's going to take about 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to set the timer for 25 minutes. Okay, Google, set a timer for 20 minutes. Actually, I'm sorry. I said I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes because I'm going to come back and check it at 20. We want it to be golden brown, and it should get a little bit more brown on the edges. So, therefore, if I come back, my oven will still be hot. If it's not quite as brown as I wanted at 20 minutes, and I'll put it back in. All right, we'll see you in about 20 minutes. Alrighty, I checked our crust at 20 minutes. It wasn't quite brown enough, so I've given it about another 5. And I think that's pretty good. You might not be able to pick that up on the camera, but it's gotten golden brown and the edges are a little bit darker. All right, now that one is way too hot. So we're gonna go on, or we're gonna proceed with the one I made earlier. And see, it's nice and cooled. All right, so the next step in our recipe is I've got 1 cup of confectionery sugar and 8 ounces of cream cheese in this bowl. And I'm gonna give it, start it on low so our powdered sugar doesn't flop all over us. I'm not plugged in. Wade could have just told me that.
You would have figured it out.
That doesn't seem to want to go in there. There we go. All right, and again, let's start it slowly. All right, so the other thing we need in here is a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Put that in there. So again, that's our cream cheese and our confectionery or powdered sugar, whatever you call it. And just looking for a spatula in there. All right. And that's softened or room temperature cream cheese, guys. All right, then we need to put our first tub of Cool Whip thawed in. And this is going to be our first layer. And then there's always a little bit left for whoever's cooking it. I love Cool Whip. Okay, so let's get that combined. And we'll give it a little scrape down, make sure everything's in there. At the bottom. That looks pretty good to me. All right, now, the reason I do it like this is I find it's easier to make sure that we've got because the pudding, I should say, we're only using 3 cups of milk. So our pudding is gonna get thicker than normally when you make it. So if I just took this off and then did the pudding, in my opinion at least, the pudding is gonna it's gonna thicken up, of course, as it waits for us to get the first layer down, and then I find that it makes it more difficult to spread. All right, so our first layer. And we want to make sure we get all that deliciousness out of there. Okay, and get in there. Now I can taste it. Delicious. All right, so then with an offset spatula is the... Okay, you might notice a little technical difficulty there. Wade will fix it up to make it as seamless as possible. Anyway, so with an offset spatula, you just want to spread your delicious cream cheese and powdered sugar and vanilla evenly out. So now, of course, once you've got this all together, everything is pretty chilled at this point. I had actually even put my crust in the refrigerator, but you're going to have to resist the temptation to just get a spoon and start eating it, because it really is best when it's completely cold. I'd say 2 hours, even overnight. This is one of those things. It's going to be delicious at 2 hours, but it's going to cut better after overnight. All right, so I'm going to need this, so I'm going to give it a rinse. And dry it off. All right, so our next step, I'm going to push those two aside. We got our chocolate. Smells like chocolate. Of course, you want to clean that. If you don't have the 2 bowls, you want to give your other bowl a rinse if you're doing this in a stand-up mixer, or if you're using a hand mixer, just use, of course, 2 different bowls. I gotta get a hand mixer. You know, I every time I go out, I forget. I really should pick up one. All right, and we need our beater or whisker attachment for this. Let's plug it in. I'm going to take this off because the milk will go all over. But of course it didn't. It came out in one steady stream. So that's 3 cups of milk to our 2 containers of pudding mix. And of course you could use whatever your favorite pudding is. You don't need to use the Jell-O bread. And we're going to just let that start out a little bit slowly. Get everything in there. And then Put it up to about medium. And I would say it needs a good 2-3 minutes to get it to where we want it to be. All right, guys, and you can see that's nice and thick. Again, that's thicker than if you make it according to the package directions, but we want it to be thick like that. I should taste it. Just in case. It's good enough. All right, so then we're going to take another spoon and I'm going to try to spread this nicely over the top.
It is thick.
Yeah, it definitely and it will probably thicken up a little bit more as it sits and gets cold, but you want it to be nice and thick. So of course, if you just kind of dollop it around, it helps you with the spreading. All right. And again, with our offset spatula, just start to slowly work it to the ends. And of course, it's going to depend upon how neat you want it. Now, you're going to notice that there's a little bit of, it looks like almost like little tiny chocolate chips. So in other words, it's not 100% smooth like if you were making this according to the package directions, but that's the way it's supposed to be. All right, that looks pretty good to me. One little corner doesn't want to stay shut. All right, so then gotta give this a rinse after I taste it. All right, so then our next step is our other container of Cool Whip. Remember, I didn't say, I said this was delicious. I didn't say it was low calorie. Now, Wade will probably bring in a couple pieces for people at work, possibly on Monday. But it will take us several days to eat this, and we don't eat this often. I haven't made this in a long time. All right, so then we're going to take our spatula again and let the offset spatula do its magic. So what this is, it's really, I mean, it's a chocolate cream pie in a way, you know? Except that, of course, this does have that nice cream cheese layer. And you can be as fussy about it as you want. Oop, how did that happen? All right. Our last step, be right back. Add a few chocolate pieces in the... Wade just, he thought I was going to use that whole chocolate bar in there. You can eat the rest of it later. All right, so we got our grater. Of course, you can, you know what you can also use if you don't want to grate it, the little tiny milk chocolate chips. It goes wonderful, or works great in here. I'm grinding that either too small or, there we go. Much better. And of course, you put on as much as you want. I usually think about 2 squares should work. Mini chocolate chips would work, be much faster, huh? That'll be enough at least to give you guys what I want to show you. And you're just gonna cover the top. Of course, it's melting right in my fingers because today's a little hotter than it's been, but look, it's melting right over my fingers. All right, that's all I'm going to do because I have chocolate fingers. All right, so I'm sorry. The only thing left to do, throw this in the refrigerator. You don't even have to cover it. Throw it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours and enjoy. And we'll see you when we're sitting down to enjoy this. All right, it's time for dessert. Dig in. I've had it in the refrigerator for about 3.5 hours or so.
Yep. Yeah. Nice layers. That is delicious.
Yep. As good as I remember it being.
That is very good.
Well, that's tasty. You'd think that kind of with all this, the pudding and the powdered sugar, but it's not really overly sweet. The shortbread, that little stuffing, the crust or whatever it's called, kind of, there's not a lot of sugar in that, so, it doesn't overpower anything, but I think it's delicious.
So do I. Sinful.
Yep.
Nice job.
Thank you. Soft, velvety, and crunchy at the same time. All right. That's all I got to say. Other than, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed watching us make this. All right, now I'm done.
Please like and subscribe. And check out cherryhillhomecooking.com. See you in the next video.
Ciao.
Bye. It's almost like peanut butter.
Well, because it does have the walnuts in it, so it's got a nutty taste to it, definitely. I agree.